Welcome everyone, I'm Dale and this is Cinema Historia. A former outlaw, an old flame, and a stolen gold-plated cannon. This week we're going back to 1969 for an American Western film called Charro, starring Elvis Presley, Enid Blyton, and Victor French. And this is directed by, screenplay by, and produced by Charles Marquis Warren. So, let's begin our story. Our story begins this week in Mexico with Jess Wade, played by Elvis Presley, a former member of a gang of outlaws led by Vince Hackett, played by Victor French. Jess, en route, is led to believe that an old flame, Tracy Winters, played by Enid Blyton, wants to meet him in a seedy Mexican saloon. Upon arrival, entering the saloon, Jess sees Billy Roy Hackett, Vince's brother, summoning Vince and the other members of the gang into the saloon as well. Realizing he has been set up, Jess orders the bar patrons to leave before a shootout ensues. With making a break for the door, Jess is stopped by Gunner, another member of the gang. Jess, now captured, is forced to relinquish his gun and go with them to their hideout in the mountains. There, Vince shows Jess that the gang has stolen a gold-plated cannon, a victory gun used by Emperor Maximilian in his ill-fated fight against their Mexican leader. Vince informs him that a wanted poster has been produced. It says that Jess is in the gang who stole the cannon and has sustained a neck wound as a result of being shot by one of the guards. Ordering his men to subdue Jess on the ground, Vince uses a branding iron to burn his neck. Taking his horse, leaving him stranded, Jess eventually captures a wild horse in the desert and saddle breaks it. Meanwhile, Vince's gang cart their supplies and the cannon across a desert storm to the next town. Arriving in town first, Jess heads to Tracy's saloon, rekindles his old flame, and warns her that Vince and his gang will be headed for the nearest town in search of wine and women. The gang's motive is to force a ransom from the town they stole the cannon from, but the gang also used the cannon to hold the townspeople at bay. As expected, Jess is involved in a shootout with Billy Roy, injuring the local sheriff and throwing Billy Roy in jail. Injured Sheriff Ramsey deputizes Jess, but when Vince finds out his brother's in jail, warns Jess that if Billy Roy is not released by sundown, the cannon will be pointed at the town. Sounds like trouble. So, does the deputized Jess release Billy Roy and avoid violence? Do the local townspeople believe Jess is still part of Vince's gang? Or does a victory gun blast away, leaving only Jess to save the people from his former gang? Released March 12, 1969, it was the final film for director Charles Marquis Warren, who also produced and wrote it. An American motion picture and television writer and director who specialized in westerns, his notable career achievements were his involvement in creating the TV series Rawhide, and his work in adapting the radio series Gunsmoke for television. User reviews make such claims as, a must-see, Elvis is an ex-outlaw trying to go straight, high noon for Elvis Presley, and Elvis at his best, and that he was. And I did another Elvis Presley Western on my channel a while back, Flaming Star from 1960. Please click the link below. And our trivia question this week. Were there some firsts in this Western film? Were there some firsts in this Western film? So, a little more history and the answer to our trivia question coming up next. Our movie was filmed at Samuel Goldwyn Studios in Hollywood and on location at Apacheland Movie Ranch, making Apacheland Movie Ranch the subject of this week's history. So, a movie ranch is a ranch that it is at least partially dedicated for use as a set in the creation and production of motion pictures and television shows. Developed in the U.S. in Southern California because of the climate, movie ranches began in the 1920s for location shooting to support the making of popular Western films. Located in the town of Apache Junction, Arizona, the Apacheland Movie Ranch and Apacheland Studio was developed from 1959 to 1960. Starting in late 1957, movie studios had been contacting Superstition Mountain area ranchers for options to use their properties as town sets. During this time, Victor Panic contacted his neighbors in Apache Junction, a Mr. and Mrs. J.K. Hutchins, to suggest the idea of building a dedicated studio in the Superstition area. Hutchins and Panic found a suitable site that was developed into Apache land, intended to be the Western movie capital of the world. Construction on the Apache Land Studio soundstage and the adjacent Western town set began on February 12, 1959. Funded by Superstition Mountain Enterprises and Associates, by June 1960, the 1,800-acre movie set was available for use by production companies. Its first TV Western, Have Gun Will Travel, was filmed in November of 1960, along with its full-length movie, The Purple Hills, in 1961. Actors such as Elvis Presley, Jason Robards, Stella Stevens, Ronald Reagan, Audie Murphy, and Steve McQueen filmed many Western television shows and movies in Apache land and surrounding areas. Sadly, on May 26, 1969, fire destroyed most of the ranch. Only 7 buildings survived, including the so-called Elvis Chapel built for the Western film Charro, and the Apache Land barn used in many shots in the 1960s. However, the sets were soon rebuilt to accommodate ongoing production. A second fire destroyed most of Apache land on February 14, 2004, and on October 16th of the same year, Apache land was permanently closed. The Elvis Chapel and the Apache Land barn, both of which survived the second fire, were donated, moved by truck, and reassembled on the Superstition Mountain Museum grounds, where both stand today. Amazing. And the answer to our trivia question this week: were there some firsts in this Western film? There certainly were. This was Presley's only film in which he did not sing on screen. The film featured no songs at all, other than the main title theme sung by Elvis. A rough gunfighter in the film, Elvis grew a beard for the only time in a movie. His Memphis cohorts showed their support for Elvis by also growing beards. Elvis did his own horse riding in the film, helped by his experience on his own ranch, Circle G, and showing off his firearms skills as an owner and collector. He used to practice his quick draw with Clint Eastwood. There's a good guy to have in your corner. And lastly, it was the introduction of American actress Lynn Kellogg, who plays saloon girl Marcy. Lynn was in the original Broadway production of Hair in 1968, had guest roles on television, and had a career as a singer and guitarist as well, touring with Gordon Lightfoot and others. Amazing. Another click for you to click on below is Girl Happy from 1965, another Elvis film I think you may enjoy. And to all my viewers and subscribers, thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you soon.